Welcome, everyone, to another lovely day with the incredible Dortha Hise, queen of automation in all things AI in content and systems and all things that make our lives easy. And myself, of course, a passionate person that loves communication and all ways of communicating, which is multimedia. So we are going to continue with part two of YouTube 2.0, the new hot features that they're offering. And we're going to talk about optimizing your channel. So, Dortha, you were throwing things at me. I was trying to make notes as crazy. What are some of the common mistakes that people, all of us, it's not just them, all of us keep making on video?
Well, on video specifically, I think that list is probably a long
Or
list,
on
right? Like,
YouTube. Sorry, we're
yeah,
focusing on
no,
YouTube.
yeah. So I think one of the biggest things that I see slash hear about are that people feel like they really need to be very polished, or they have to spend a lot of time editing their content,
We were
and they
just talking about that.
and they don't. I think it makes us more approachable, more human, more relatable when we have our content. Like, oh, I've recently recorded some things where I was talking and I started I was reading my notes a little bit, and I was like, I got off on a tangent in my own head, and I said something that wasn't right, and I paused for a minute, and I was like, oh, and what I meant was, and I just got back on track. I think that is one of the biggest things, that like we feel like we need to have this perfectly polished, beautifully edited, whatever, transitions and all the things, and we really don't. I think if
And I
anything that,
have to
yeah,
tell you, the last our part one of
yes.
this series, we were having which was last week. So we record a week prior to airing, and we were having so many technical difficulties, and we had the giggles so much that a lot of things that production value wise, like, our heads being at the same height or both of us being at the center of the screen, like little details that matter, were
Mhm.
just gone by the wayside. And then I had to struggle. Do I put this video that is less than our brand standard
Yeah,
out, right? And
yeah.
then it becomes that question that Dorothy is saying: is it about the message, or is it about the vanity? Is it about the production? What's the point of
Mhm.
your video in you going out and sharing your thoughts with the
Yeah.
world? So needless to say, the video went out,
As
and
is.
it is nasty, but focus on the message, because it was a really good message.
It was a good message. And I will also say, to that point, one of the other kind of mistakes or common things that people think they need to do is like introduce themselves or have some kind of rambling backstory to get into the point that you're making in the content. And that's also not the case. So really, you have like 3 to 5 seconds to really capture someone's attention to ensure that they're going to stay. If you don't catch them in that little tiny window, first
Mhm.
of all, people are going to close the window, or they're going to drop or go back or whatever. Your retention's dropping in those videos that you're posting. And then the next thing is, the algorithm inside YouTube isn't going to continue to promote your content. So you're
Yeah.
going to start falling down in your rankings.
And you know what? This goes back to, although we're not big on legacy media or, legacy printing, but if you think back to journalism writing, right? Like the inverted pyramid, how
Mm,
your first paragraph needed to tell the whole story
yeah,
because you were assuming that people only read the first paragraph,
that's right.
right?
Yeah.
So when we speak about AI optimized, it's like really search engine optimized. So think about it. The algorithms, Bigfoot, um, doesn't scan your entire content, video or print or whatever media you're putting out. It doesn't scan it all the way to the end and go, oh, at the end, a minute,
Now I see.
94%, I find a matching word. is
Mhm.
answer first.
Yeah.
Whatever the question is, has to be like, not welcome, not another lovely day. And I understand I said welcome too, but you know what? We work organic. We're not
Mhm.
algorithm based, but it's, yes, it's that easy to forget, right?
Yeah.
It needs to go straight to the point. Like in actually in our case, it's in the heading, in the banner, YouTube 2.0 new hot features. So hopefully that's enough for someone to stick around, right? So
Yeah.
definitely answer first is AI
Mm.
optimized.
Yeah. And if your video, when you're making your content, the algorithm is asking kind of three basic questions. One is, what is the video really about?
Mhm.
Who is it for? And is it satisfying the viewer?
Yes.
So you can it pulls together the information based on your watch time, click through rates, and your retention of your audience, as well as engagement. So if people are commenting, saving, sharing your content, that's how the algorithm is starting to track, and that's where that AI piece is really coming in. But it's basically behavior and intent along with AI understanding of your exact content. So
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, sorry. And there's a
No,
new
no, it's okay.
feature. There's
Yeah.
a new feature on the mobile, on your phones, that is AI summary.
Hmm.
So now it takes a video and you can just I don't need to watch it. Just give me the summary.
Just give me the
So
highlights.
remember that, right? So
Mhm.
that's why you have to be answer first, intent first. What
Yeah.
is the transformation?
Yeah.
What will someone, after you finish this video, you will be able to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
And that is super important because I found myself using it, like, as you like, shorter,
Yeah.
and although it's funny because I used to really appreciate, because I'm an emotional cutter, I used to really appreciate when Twitter was 180 characters. I forget how many characters it was, because you had to be so clever in
Yeah.
your wording, right? Like,
Mhm.
what's it, Winston Churchill said, excuse the length of this letter, I didn't have time to make it shorter, right? And it's exactly that.
Mhm.
We need to, you know we don't know. The truth is, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's long content that gets rewarded. We don't know if it is short content that gets rewarded. Certainly, reels from your longer content get rewarded, right?
Mhm.
Where you're giving them that bite and saying, oh, watch the full video here.
Yeah.
Um, but definitely be succinct as much as possible, but still give full value. If you have 20 minutes worth of solid information, please do.
Yeah.
Right? If you
Yeah.
got 2 hours, okay, you may want to split it into a couple of chapters. But
Mhm.
it's people, the audience is intelligent, right? Never underestimate, especially the shift towards not so much visual influencers, but really insight expert
Yeah.
influencers. And you got to dive in, if because otherwise you're not giving the proper context, right? It's like, like, don't eat, the hooks, right? Like
Yeah.
that play at dinner time. It's like, if you're about to eat, stay tuned for 5 o'clock. It's like, okay. No games, right? Especially
Yeah.
when you're an expert, thought leader or business influencer.
Yeah. And to your point about that, it be, around the audience, one other mistake that is common is being overly broad. So, thinking that like your audience is everyone, or that you're like all women business owners, or all whatever, fill in the blank. The problem with that is that YouTube doesn't know who to show your content to, so they show
Mhm.
it to no one.
Ooh,
Hmm.
okay.
Hmm.
And I had something interesting happened. This is a dull life. I, I had something interesting happen with YouTube,
Mm.
where you and I are cleaning house, removing old stuff. So I must have touched an old video, that reactivated it, right? Like it woke
Mhm.
up again. And then I got a love note from YouTube saying, your video has been removed because it violated community guidelines, which
Oh,
we just don't do,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And you're like, what the heck? Like, we didn't violate it when it first went out, right? So it
Yeah.
must have been something new. So I try my best to find out, because the last thing you want to do is go to social media jail or anything like that
Right.
when it's your means of communication, lead generation. And it wouldn't tell me because the video had already been removed. So I don't even know what video it was,
Oh my
but it was
god.
from a couple of years ago, right? So
Mhm.
they still go back and double check, I guess,
You
once
do.
they've added filters based on, I don't know, maybe it's current sensitivities
Mm.
or whatever, right?
Mhm.
Like before the pandemic, maybe you could mention vaccines. After the pandemic, it's like, no, that's like a
Yeah.
big no
It's a
word.
hot button issue.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly, exactly. So you still need to, going back to it being a search engine,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
You like what I do, and you and I are pretty transparent on our strategies, because withholding information is futile now. If
Pretty
that's
much.
your strategy, darling, get caught up, right? So when we do a video, I take the transcript and I use AI, sometimes Gemini, sometimes ChatGPT, just really depends. And I will ask for it to reword it, right? Or format it, because that's what I use AI for, is really formatting, not so much writing. And say, do it search optimize, AI optimize, SEO, all of those things. And the one thing that I haven't been doing is using hashtags and keywords. Is that
Mm.
still a thing? Because I know on
Yeah.
LinkedIn, hashtags are like, they even removed them out of their coding strategy.
Yeah. So, keywords and focusing too much on keywords can be really problematic. It used to be back in the day, it was like, oh, make sure that your keywords are everywhere.
Mhm,
And the reality now is that YouTube understands our content, probably before we even put it up there, but the idea is that you want to make sure it's optimized for humans who are looking for it first, and
mhm,
that your keywords kind of are a secondary to that. Hashtags, yes, you want to use them because that is some ways that people are searching for content, but you don't need to use that necessarily for growth. It's more about kind of, if you will, like you have your playlist and then there's like minor categorization in that. So like if you have mindset and then under mindset, maybe you have visualization, and
mhm,
visualization could be a hashtag, for example.
mhm,
But it's more if you're trying to get into a specific topic or trend, kind of like it was popular to do on Instagram, and I think it's still popular there to do it that way. But if you want to be using them to reinforce your niche, so
mhm,
for example, for me, like I would use like delegation or small business systems, something like that. That's very, very keenly tied to the work that I do and what I speak about on my channel. And I would want to keep it to like 3 to 5, kind of like the old
the
school thought
the
was.
the big hashtag, middle hashtag, and
That's
niche
right. Yes.
hashtag. Yeah.
That's right. No big block of hashtags.
Yeah, yeah, true, true, true.
Yeah.
And so searching, now I know, going back to LinkedIn, right? Not all hashtags are created equal. It used to be, and actually I love that feature, and they have removed it. Sadness. Again, I need a life. Anyways, in on LinkedIn, you used to be able to actually search a hashtag, and it
Mm,
would tell you how many people were following that hashtag, which was
yeah.
really valuable, because people would they would make a hashtag a sentence, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, nobody's looking for that. Like nobody has cross reference that with their profile, so it's really going nowhere.
Right.
And it may make the system think that it's being spammy, right?
Mhm.
And penalize you accordingly.
Yep.
Again, that is if you're relying, because there's three ways to reach your audience. There is algorithm based, right, where you are being strategic with AI search optimization and SEOs and, all kinds of things. Then there is organic, right? Where you're posting it, you are, posting in groups, posting in like directive organic, not 100% just like putting it out there, but you're going to the watering holes where, the intended audience is already there.
Yeah.
Or well, in paid advertising, of course, that's
Mm-hmm.
and now paid advertising is really not working. I keep reading more and more and more to shy, like unless you're spending big bucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just not working. And then there is connection or network based,
Yeah.
right? So you really need to know your strategy for it. Like, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, no. I was just going to say, to your point about knowing your strategy, one of the little tricks, I don't know if you have tried this, but like when you're typing in something, it auto predicts or shares or
Yes,
gives you selection of choices, right? So you could do the same thing if you're like working on a title for one of your videos. And like I'm saying, how to delegate, right? So if I go to YouTube and type in how to delegate, it's going to give me things that people are searching for. So that's
mhm,
going to tell me, that's an important topic that people,
that
find
people are looking
interesting,
for.
looking for
Yes.
information. So that could be a topic for me. So sometimes just using the tool to get ideas for like your own take on a particular, area in your in your niche that would make sense for you to talk about.
Now, this is something someone recommended, and I keep doing it. I'm not sure if it works or doesn't, but it's one of those things that when you're creating reels or you're uploading videos that are less than 10 minutes, because that is considered native content,
Hmm.
that the title of your video, you use keywords in the title. And the same goes for pictures.
Hmm.
Like you actually don't just call it pretty sunrise, right? You would
Yeah.
call it, summit to your success, right?
Yeah.
Mindset or, burnout prevention. Like you would actually optimize the title, make it almost a sentence, so that when it's looking for again those keywords, it also picks it up on the subject, on the actual file name that you are submitting and
Yeah.
producing.
And to that point, like making sure that your video title actually is a title. I know a lot of times if you're recording on, your computer or if you're in Zoom or whatever, when you download that file, it's going to be like blah 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 GMTR
72.5.
172. And if you upload that, that's fine. But just
Mhm.
know that because it's random and not specific to what you're talking about, that's going to be a factor that YouTube looks at when you are uploading your content. So to your point also about keywords in the title, yes, and making sure that you're not forcing it like we were talking about earlier, making it something that a human is going to want to click on,
Or make it
right?
something that is not. Because if you're using common things that people are looking for, and then your content is not that,
Yeah.
that is a sure way to just mess the mess the algorithm up or mess the system up, because people will click on it and like easy on easy off,
Yes,
right?
that clickbait
They'll
kind
click
of
on it
thing,
and
right?
realize, this is not what it said it was,
Yeah.
and get out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so you're, and then I think another underutilized feature in YouTube is the thumbnail, right? People think that they have to put a lot of stuff on their thumbnails, and they don't. Like the simpler, the better, and making it consistent throughout all of your videos so that way your audience can start to say, oh, like that background, I know that because that's Carolina, or I know that because that's Dortha's content, right? They start to associate that look and feel with your channel, and YouTube starts to see that as well, so they're going to reward that behavior. This is especially important when you have a small channel as you're growing.
Mhm.
So that it's like a little thing that I just recently learned as I was rebranding my own channel.
And remember, we our PWT Global, our content, our audience, whom we serve, is not for viral content. Like likes do not pay rent.
No.
Right. So unless you put a proper conversion or a proper call to action or a next step,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
You got to move the needle.
Yeah.
In what Dorsa was saying at the beginning is that, 1,000 subscribers, the right subscribers, is the
Yeah.
sweet spot.
That's right.
That is the sweet spot because it'll allow you some to unlock other features on it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about length.
Mm.
What are you currently finding out about what's the sweet spot on length right now?
Well, for me, because and I'm only speaking to my channel because I know what's working for me over there right now is keeping content like less than 3 or so minutes,
Okay.
is where I'm landing really well, because then I can take content from that and pull out a bunch of shorts, and my shorts, is one of the places that I'm getting a lot of
My
it.
short videos, not my shorts.
Not my shorts that I'm wearing. Shorts, videos, yes, thank you. Is where I get a lot of conversion as far as people coming back to subscribe to my channel. So
Okay.
YouTube doesn't necessarily reward long videos. So like Carolina was saying, if you have some content that's like 2 hours long, that's
Uh-huh.
going to be
Although it works for some people.
100%.
Like,
You have to know your audience.
correct.
Yeah.
Like you need to find out what works for you. There's no such thing as it works or it doesn't, right?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
only way you find out is by trying.
Yeah.
And another big thing that I know people, it catches me by surprise that it catches them by surprise when, and it goes for newsletters, it goes for groups, it goes for anything. You got to promote it. You got to promote that sub niche, down
Yeah.
to the greater audience.
Yeah.
And that's where the 1 minute, 2 minute reel comes in. And that's when you invite them to see the full content. So
Yeah.
we are going to stick to video. Definitely video is the way to go, complemented of course by by print and by audio only in video, because people learn differently. People are sometimes working out and they get to listen to your podcast or your show, and now streaming, podcasting, and show is just become one word for all of it. Like I think most podcasts still have a video supplement to it, component to it, and vice versa. So this is a great way to know. And we are going to go to other other platforms that are search engine based, like Pinterest, like WhatsApp, like whatever. Because you know what? For your product or for your services, if it is search engine based, you're leaving a huge audience on the table. So
Mm.
thank you everyone for following up, and thank you for watching last week. If you got a chance to get past the giggling and the visual, turbulence. And yes, thank you. And remember, visibility is the gateway to impact. If they don't know who you are or they don't know where to find you or how to find you, you could be a genius and people will still won't know.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dortha, for wrapping up YouTube for us. And we'll keep you updated, and we will see you next week. Until next time. Bye.